Companies like mine or others across the entire Bitcoin ecosystem should look to BitGo for the amount of experience, the amount of time, and the amount of investment that they have put into not just the Bitcoin ecosystem, but the entire Web3 ecosystem. They have spent a long time learning, watching, and growing with this industry and talking not only to retail, but also to large institutional clients, whether that's on the venture side, financial side, or otherwise, to understand what's necessary, what's missing, and how they can be the bridge to the capital or to the applications that are looking to enter into this ecosystem and provide that secure solution in the middle. And I've been lucky enough to be a part of that, and that's why someone else should look to BitGo as well. For us, and I think for others as well, BitGo has added immense value when it comes to institutional grade support, custodial solutions, and infrastructure. There are few others in this industry that have been here as long as BitGo and have listened and have invested and have put in that time to educate and to build what is necessary for a future or a progressive forward-looking industry that moves so incredibly quickly. So for me, BitGo has continued to add that value, and for others, I believe that they would see that value not just today, but also future forward in what they're looking for and what their needs are. What's important is working with some of the best partners across the industry, no matter where they are. On the Asia Foundation side, we look for the best regionally in addition to globally, because capital, users, and the like all move from around the world, and this industry is incredibly decentralized. So for us, we look for the best. And when we look for the best, we look for that institutional grade support, security, and infrastructure. And if a partner can give us that, along with working with us hand in hand like BitGo has, that is an ideal partnership that we have looked for, and other foundations and other groups should also look for and strive for when it comes to building this industry forward together. BitGo has made it easier from all of the worlds that I have played in when it comes to the Bitcoin ecosystem, everything from the venture side, running our ecosystem fund, to now sitting at a foundation. BitGo has made things much easier, from custodying our assets to integrating new technologies or new product sets through Stacks and the greater Bitcoin ecosystem, and helping to educate that institutional capital that is starting to onboard in massive ways. Today, I would recommend BitGo just as I did years ago running our ecosystem fund, and just as I did last week in my current position at the foundation as well. BitGo today is one of the most secure, the most focused on institutional custody, and the most supportive when it comes to not just infrastructure, assets, and the future of where this industry grows, but they will work hand in hand with you as a foundation, as a company, as a fund, to help make sure that your business and their business is aligned for where this industry moves forward. And BitGo continues to show that strive and that progression day in and day out. So just as I would recommend BitGo years ago, I would recommend them the same as one of the most progressive institutional and supportive custodians in this space. Stacks, for those that might not be aware, is the original Bitcoin layer that brought programmability and smart contracts to Bitcoin. So we help to enable the idea of applications being built and leveraging the Bitcoin L1 for its stability and security, adding a scalability layer on top of that. And today we've continued to push the innovation and bounds of that technology by now being the fastest Bitcoin layer across the entire industry, and also pushing forward the unlocking of Bitcoin capital through our decentralized bridged asset called sBTC. So most of them have cared about a few different things. Being able to do something with their Bitcoin for the first time. Whether they're maximalists, they're opportunists, it doesn't matter. More and more holders of BTC and Bitcoin capital are looking for ways to earn additional income off of this asset that otherwise has sat dormant to them. They're looking to wake it up. They're looking to provide utility to it. And so slowly but surely, we're starting to see more of those Bitcoin holders that have held for maybe 17 years, maybe some for 10 years, maybe some for just a month, wanting to enter into that process and into those applications as well. Otherwise, a lot of them, other users and holders, have wanted to try out something that leverages Bitcoin's security and stability. So they've entered into applications that have been built on Stacks to see what that world looks like that we had once seen in Ethereum, in EVMs and SVMs via Solana and Move, or MVMs on the Move ecosystem. Now they have the power to engage in Bitcoin-based applications, leveraging Bitcoin security as well. So whether they've been short-term, long-term holders, there's now a big movement and excitement and interest to go into finding utility and productivity around their Bitcoin. So right now, when it comes to sBTC, we've current application as is today, it's a self-custodial deposit program. And we also work with institutional custodians across the board. So whether it's BitGo or some of the others more regionally focused, we try to work with institution grade custodians. We work with institutional grade security, audit firms, all the way to multiple code reviews and anything else we can do to improve and enhance security every step of the way. In my opinion, and what we look at Stacks in general, is $2 trillion. We get one shot to really build up this infrastructure, to really build up this opportunity of unlocking Bitcoin capital. And together we want to work with the best, work with the most secure, and continue that thesis of security and show that for the futures ahead. I'm very fortunate enough to have worked with BitGo for quite some years. On the ecosystem side, I formerly ran our ecosystem venture fund, today called Bitcoin Frontier Fund. And we were lucky enough to work with BitGo in our earliest days post-Stacks mainnet to not only be our custodian as a venture fund, but also to work with all of the early staged and beginning companies that entered into the ecosystem for the first time. BitGo was one of the leading and one of the earliest institutional custodians that worked across the Bitcoin side of the industry. And so a lot of the founders and a lot of the teams that I had the pleasure of investing or working with in the earliest days of the Bitcoin industry got to do that in parallel with BitGo. And the support, the time, the commitment that they gave not just to the startups, but to us as a fund, set a great foundation for what I looked for and would continue to look for in a custodian, whether it was in a venture fund or future role that I may have when it comes to Bitcoin as a whole.